about some of the strategies. Here are some of the questions. How do customers process and evaluate prices? So we talked about the value pricing. We talked about, the cost. We talked about people look at, high quality, high price. So how should a company set prices initially for products or services? Here we're talking about you need to have a goal. What is your strategy? What is your objective? Do I make the price so I make more money? Do I make a price so I continue, I stay in business, I don't lose? Do I set my price so I get the most money possible I can get? You need to have an objective for the price. And how should a company adapt prices to meet varying circumstances and opportunities? So we talked about, you need to work with the environment dynamics. The company, price line, they were successful because it was a big problem. There is, maybe 20 flights every day going between Miami and Frankfurt, or maybe Frankfurt and Paris. Now, all of those flights, sometimes it becomes, half empty, sometimes 100% full. Some customers, they want to go in the morning and they want to come at night. So if you don't give them that, they will not fly with you. So you have to have one in the morning and one in the afternoon and one at night. So for that reason, price line, they thought, okay, so maybe here is an area we can make money. Why don't we, instead of we set the prices, we let people set their prices, how much they're willing to pay. When should a company initiate a price change? Do you only change your prices if your competitors change? Maybe inflation, market dynamics, So these are other issues to consider. And how should a company respond to a competitor price change? So a company, competitor, you increase price, what do? You follow them? You wait? What happens if they drop the price? You guys remember the story of Emirates Airlines and Fly Dubai and Qatariya Airlines? When Emirates Airlines, they put themselves were very high premium, expensive. And they price like that, were high premium, expensive. And then when there's a bigger competition and people provide quality for cheap, with the competition, Qatariya Airlines, Gulf Air, and the other flying airlines that go to Dubai started to provide same quality and cheaper. So they said, okay, if you customers want cheap, we'll give you Fly Dubai cheap. Okay? So instead of they lower their prices, they create a new brand, and then they compete with the lower brand with those people who are doing cheap. So let's see. So these are some of the questions. And today we're talking about the marketing mix. We said pricing, it's a revenue producer while everyone else is a cost. We talked here about price component, function, and a form. Do you guys understand the idea of rebates? A rebate is some sort of a discount. Let's say, the example says, customers, they, let's say, what is it? They do that on HP. They tell you this is a very nice office to $500. They put it, they market it. And then some other no brand, no name, they have the same office, fax printer, and they sell it for, $300. So what do you do if you're HP? You've got this Chinese manufacturer who do all-in-one and they compete with you. You maintain your high, you do marketing, you explain to people. Because remember, the 5-in-1 machine, which is a printer, photocopier, scanner, that's a new invention. It's easy to copy, but it was very difficult to make the first time. At the same time, you try to promote it to your customers, and so you saw it on a premium 500. Tomorrow there's a competitor that sell. So, now we've got this bargaining. Someone says 500, someone says 300. The customer comes in. If you're a customer, what do you want? 500 or 300? You want 300. So, companies started to think about, okay, so you're getting the function, so maybe we want to keep our image. So maybe we will give it to you for 300, but on a rebate. So you pay 500 where you buy it. And then after you buy it and you use it, you send us the registration. we will send you $200 check.
What's the use?
The use is they sell it for $300 as per the customer request. But, when you paid 500, and company maintain its image of $500 machine. It's worth it. But at the same time, for the customer feels that they've got this benefit of $200 that they got after they bought it and paid it back. So here we're talking about how this price can actually be part of the image of the product. It's part of, the function of your product. It's kind of component of your product. Let's see. We're talking here about changing price environment. We're now in an environment where buyers set prices. We talked about free products, instant price comparisons, websites. We talked about it's a seller environments also, where sellers they sometimes they want to negotiate. Sometimes sellers now with the internet they can determine what price they want to show it to you. Sellers now they can also monitor customers. They can see how much you're willing to pay. How companies price. If you're a small business owner, you price for your small business owner. Who makes the decision? You make the decision. Maybe if you work in a pricing department, Ahmed mentioned, what company you mentioned they do pricing department?
Sir, for huge companies.
Yeah, huge companies. So maybe in the oil industry, they go with the market price. Maybe airlines, they need to do the calculation how much it will.
Every day, every week.
Every hour. Because if you have a flight on the summer, this is how much you price it now. And how much if you have a flight tonight, you need to maybe change the price now.
Related to the marketing department.
So marketing department will decide on these prices. We talked about the pricing psychology or psychology and pricing. People have this idea that more expensive, more quality. Sometimes you've got this reference price. People always have a reference price. Sometimes if you go to a place and they tell you, this is Armani t-shirt, $1,000, and then there is an X on it, and now it's $460. Why they put 1,000 and put an X on it? So you give you a reference.
Yes.
It used to be 1,000. Now it's 460. So you calculate the discount. Do you see? You're smart enough. And also, what is, the idea of price ending. There was this research. They looked into shoes. Anyone is a shoe buyer or a shoe lover or a shoe shopping lover? Anyone in the class? Now, if you go and you shop for shoes, there are some shoes that are 200, 300, some shoes, 50, 30, 40 shoe. And you kind of have an idea of what a $40 shoe, look or should be. And they did this research and they found which one is more expensive. A $49 shoe or a $44 shoe. They found that the more expensive is the 44 in customer perceptions. Because the 44 is an even number, and even numbers, they are easy to multiply and divide. And 44 is 10% more than the $40 worth of this shoe. So if you buy this shoe, it's really 40. Why they sell it for 44 in people's minds? But a 49, no, this must have been a $50 shoe, and now they sell it for 49. So the $49 shoe is cheaper. And 44, that's more expensive. It should be 40.
Sometimes they put it 49.
So they've got this idea of price endings. We talked about this black t-shirt. We said the Armani is $275. Is this expensive or is it even cheaper? You see? And Gap 14.9. Is that expensive or is it cheap for a Gap?
It's a black t-shirt.
And here we've got this H&M. It's a 7 points. So it illustrates a very large part consumer psychology when it comes to these prices and how those three different levels, can really mean a lot different things for different people, even though it's the same product. We also talked in this chapter about you set your prices. First, you set your objective. I want to have my price to market share, most profit. We just want to survive, stay in business. Sometimes you set the prices. The objective is to get customers in. Do you guys know the idea of getting customer in? The idea we talked about the Shumaila Hari. You guys remember the story of Shumaila Hari when they used to announce the plate of egg for 200 riyal, and they put it at the end. So they make a big announcement: Zabadi 20 riyal. This is very cheap, and everyone wants a Zabadi. How many people buy Zabadi in cartoons? Anyone buy a Zabadi in cartoon? You buy normally one or two. So if they lose one or two on the customer to come into the store and walk all the way to the refrigerator section to get it, now that's a big, investment. And then you want to determine demand.
You enter to buy Zabadi or egg, you get out and you pay 10,000.
Yeah, do you see? It's just to get you into the store. So that's the objective of the price. Number two, after you set your objectives, you determine the demand. You estimate the cost. You look at the competitors, you price it, and then you set your final price. So next we've got here objectives: survive, maximum profit, maximum share, market, maximum skimming, which is the maximum possible return that you can get from on the first round. Maybe you want to get the product quality leadership. You put the standard. Okay, so if I make this product for this price, then I set the level for my competitors. We talked about price sensitivity. You guys know what we mean by price sensitive? So if I increase my prices 10%, what will happen to the demand? Will people run away, or people will pay it's okay? Estimating demand curves. I don't know, maybe how many people have taken the economics class? Okay. It seems that I might be doing the economics class, but we will see. So it will talk about the price elasticity and demand. Inelasticity and elastic demand. Do you guys understand this idea of elastic and inelastic? The key message here is if you increase prices, let's say from $10 to $15, you increase 50% in the price. What will happen to the demand? Okay, so here, from 105, or let's say maybe we talk about dropping price. If the price is 15 and you drop it to 10, how many new people will you get?
5.
Maybe only 5. Okay. So here, or maybe I think it's better to increase it, right? If it's 10, you increase to 15. How many customers you lose? Only 5. Okay. But here, if the price is 10, you have 150 customers. You increase it 50%. You lose, maybe 60% of your customers. You see. So this shows you the elasticity. This is very elastic. This is very inelastic. We've got this idea of a price. How do you determine your prices? We've got here the estimating cost, and show you here your cost, your profit, your price floor is the price where below it you lose. Minimum. Okay? And then the price ceiling is the maximum, which is the upper limit of the price. If you price more than that price, no one customer will come to you, right? And let's see, we talked about the estimating cost, fixed cost, variable cost, total cost. And I think you do talk more about that in your economics class. And here it talks about the long run and short run, and Ahmed did a good job illustrating it. Any questions on these, variable cost, fixed costs, and so on? We talked about target costing. The idea of design engineer is, since the pricing is a decision at the marketing level because you see what the market customer wants, if you do a full market study and you see all of the pizzas in town are 800 real. Okay, we've got a new pizza company. They have never sold at 800 real. Okay, but now they will get their design engineers. What pizza we make that can sell for 800 real? So you make, this is my target cost. You work around it. Experience curve, this as you produce more, you get more experience. This way your cost starts to drop. You want to analyze your competitors. That's the following step. How much prices competitors do, and you build your price upon them. You need to select pricing model. These are pricing methods. Markup, you want to make 20% more. Target return, you want to get this particular return per investment. You want to price based on perceived value. So customers think this is worth this much, you charge that. Value, how much value people get, so you add up all of the values. Going rate, you just price according to what the market say. Like let's say crude oil is $14. Can you come and tell me your oil is $60? No, that's going rate is 14. An auction type, you go with what the auction ended up with. So here it show you those ceiling costs and floor. Here give you the markup pricing calculations, target return calculations, target return pricing, break-even analysis, customer value, perceived value. I'll tell you, for example, do you guys remember how much you pay per month for electricity?
It was 2,000, 3,000.
2,000. Now, when you use fuel generator, how much you pay per month?
20, 30,
15,000, 20,000.
20,000. Now, if you install a solar system, how much it will be per month? If you take it, divide it by the number of months, depreciate it, how much it will be. So those give you how much value. Now let's say I open up a new business company and I sell you electricity. Okay? Now I know what is the maximum and what is the minimum. The maximum you pay is what you pay for the generator. The minimum you pay, how much you pay for that you used to pay for them. And then this is your range. You can't go beyond and you can't go below. And you start to see how much people prefer it. It is easier, cheaper, therefore that's a more value. You do more of value pricing. You guys know what is this EDLP? This is the everyday low prices. Some companies' strategy is they give you cheap price every day. So any day you go, they're cheap. Can you give me a store like this? Any day you go in the year, this is the lowest price during the year. Maybe.
So could it be the dollar shop?
Yeah, the dollar shop idea. So that every day they go, they're cheap. You see? And then there are other businesses, they don't prefer the everyday low. They do the high-low prices. High-low pricing is that sometimes you sell high, sometimes you sell low. If I go today to Red Tag, I will find items at high, and I know it's high. And I know it is the new fashion, and I may buy it. And I know if I wait until the end of the year, I may find it on the section of the low prices. In the low prices, it will be a little bit old. I will not be the first one to buy it. Maybe a lot of my friends already got it. And maybe I will not find my size, but it will be cheap. So I go to the shop, I find something high, I buy. I may find something low, I also buy. Do you see? For the store, on average, over the year, they make the same money as the everyday low prices. You see? If I go to this other everyday low prices, every day I go, it's the same prices. The prices are not very cheap. They don't go as cheap as Red Tag on those days. But the prices are not as high as those, on the high price markets. But they keep the same price all over the year. So on average, they make the same money both. But different strategies, different perspectives, different customer value. Because the customer value, if I buy it today, it just got out, I'll be the first one to have it, it's cool, I love it, I want it now. I pay high, okay? Maybe other people say, I don't see this as valuable. I'll just wait until the end of the year when it's on discount. The going rate is for all commodities. Prices of coffee, cotton, gold, silver, they're going with the international market prices. And you also have the follow the leader. If the leader dropped, you can't, not drop. You see, if you go to Al-Qasr Street and people drop the price of mobile phones of this particular brand to 250 and you're still on the 300, no one will buy from you. You just follow whatever reader you have. And then auction prices, you understand the English and Dutch. And then sealed bid prices. For example, if I've got my mobile phone, I can tell you, everyone write your own bid in an envelope and give it to me. I can say my mobile phone for $1,000. Who would like to buy it? No one? 900. Anyone? 300. Anyone? Okay, we got one. So that's more of a decreasing. That's a Dutch. Or maybe in English. So who would like to buy my mobile phone? $1. Anyone bid more?
$2.
50, 100. Alaona, Aladui. So here we've got selecting the final price. You get your brand quality. You want to look at the impact on the others. Pricing policies, gain and risk sharing. So these are all issues you want to decide on. For example, if you go to the bank, do they have a pricing policy that says this service, this price, this service, this price, or is it in the mind of the employee, or is it on the system? Do you see, this becomes an issue. And also you want to make sure that sometimes you have limits. You don't do below or after. And let's see. Here we've got the geographical pricing. He said Ahmed had a very good example of prices of books in UK and India. Prices, discounts, and allowances. You want to prices drop. You have to drop. Promotional prices. You say we have sale. So it's a way to get people into your store. Differentiated prices, where maybe you don't pay the same price for every customer, that depending on what customers are willing to pay. Raising prices, is it always good or bad? If it's inflation, you have to. Cutting prices, if prices are dropping, you need to go. And some people, you just need to follow what your competition doing. And that's the end of this chapter.